What is up, YouTubers and Andromeda? We are back with another YouTube video for y'all today. Today we're gonna be reacting to the most radioactive man in history. In particular, a series of unfortunate events occurred to this guy that I guess was a nuclear some nuclear site. Wow, man, like based on what I've seen, it's been a really long time since I've seen it, but I think it's a great video to share with you guys. Hopefully you guys like it. But from what I've seen, this guy really did suffer after that incident. Like, wow. I feel like it's only fitting, to share to y'all this since we're living in, uncertainty time between the war with Ukraine and Russia. Hopefully, the war ends soon and doesn't escalate to nuclear tensions. But you guys never know. World War III might be around the corner. So hopefully, this video can provide further insights on the consequences of what happens. When people get exposed with like nuclear radiation. If you like this video, please remember to leave a like below, comment, subscribe to the channel to help it grow, share it with your friends, and let's get on with this video. Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them.
When I was a kid,
Bruce Lee.
my dad would tell me not to worry about making mistakes, because mistakes are an opportunity to improve. You take the experience, analyze it, and then move on and apply what you've learned. But some mistakes are so devastating and destructive
Indeed.
that there's no coming back.
Damn, look at these
No
babies.
learning, no correcting.
It's horrible what happened to them.
Horror. There's everything.
I remember this incident when people have been saying how like a teacher was going up in space and
Hisashi or Ouchi,
the whole freaking rocket just exploded on live TV. It was such a tragedy, probably like thousands of kids around like the country just witnessed like a potential cool teacher get like killed because of some accident, I guess, that occurred in the headquarters of NASA and whatever. So that's tragic, but let's get on with this.
And his colleagues made a mistake while working at the nuclear fuel conversion company in Tokai. That mistake would lead to Ouchi being bedridden and unable to move for 83 days, where he would endure a sickening series of increasingly more painful injuries at the nuclear fuel conversion facility in Tokaimura for their day's work. The JCO plant wasn't a power generating facility, but rather one which created the fuel rods for other power plants. They did this by a process of converting uranium hexafluoride into uranium dioxide. This would be the Tokaimura plant's first batch of fuel in 3 years. As such, there were no dedicated trained staff for this role.
Cool, we got some videos of
technicians happened to be available at the
site
fulfilled this role. The approved procedure to make this fuel is that the uranium powder is dissolved in nitric acid in the dissolution tank.
Interesting.
This pure mixture is then pumped into a much taller storage tank called a buffer tank.
Okay.
It would then be slowly transferred into a wide tank called a precipitation tank, where it could be mechanically stirred. The design of the buffer tank prevented the fuel from going critical because of its tall cylindrical shape.
I guess those little red dots are like the safes.
The purpose of this design was to control the flow of mixture into the larger precipitation tank to prevent the mixture from going critical as it was stirred mechanically.
It's crazy how there's people working on these things.
The powder for this process was 5%.
Okay.
3 years prior to this date, the JCO company had modified the official procedure so that the uranyl nitrate solution could be made in stainless steel buckets by hand, rather than placing the ingredients into the dissolution tank.
Okay.
This was illegal and against government regulations, but had never led to
why?
any
Just to make the
process
process easier?
Concentration of uranium which was used. When the 3 workers arrived that day, the plant was already 2 days behind schedule for delivery of the nuclear fuel rods. The company put pressure on staff to complete the procedure as quick as possible.
It's always a company putting pressure on people, and then they F up.
They were now mixing the uranyl nitrate solution in steel buckets and pouring it directly into the large precipitation tank.
Jeez.
They were also using a uranium concentration much higher than anyone previously had in order to create the fuel as fast as possible.
God, man.
At around 10:35 a.m., after the precipitation tank reached 14
how much did they get paid for doing this?
Concentrated uranyl nitrate solution, the radiation alarm sounded, and the 3 workers reported seeing a blue flash as Cherenkov radiation signaled that the mixture was generating enough heat to start a self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction and sent out blasts of gamma and neutron radiation.
I don't know about y'all, man, but this is sounding like, you know, a superhero or supervillain origin story.
While Shinohara was standing on a platform pouring the liquid into the tank. Yokokawa was sitting at a desk a few feet away and received the smallest dose of radiation. The internationally acknowledged radiation safety limit per person per year is 20 millisieverts. The dose
personally, I feel like it's always best to have 0. Because the side effects are always there.
1,000 millisieverts of radiation, 3 times the amount considered lethal. Shinohara received.
Wait, so I mean, if they're around other people, would that radiation go on to them? I mean, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm dumb when it comes to like this field of talking about radiation. But anyways,
Ouchi and Shinohara felt waves of pain and nausea,
and
both struggled to breathe. And the 3 men fled to a nearby changing room where Ouchi vomited and passed out.
Ooh.
The 3 men were sent to the hospital with the 2 most irradiated, Ouchi and Shinohara, quickly transferred to the University of Tokyo Hospital, as it had more modern facilities.
Look at how they're all geared up. They know this guy is dangerous for the radiation and everything. They must have, you know, cleaned the head out of wherever he resided in the hospital.
Attended to Ouchi. They couldn't believe that he'd received a fatal dose of radiation.
先生が下から上に連れてきて、ICU の中であったんですけども、そのまま個室にいつものようにストレッチャー。
Alright, just a normal hospital procedure.
1日で一気に日焼けをしちゃったぐらい。
Oh, so that's what happens. The skin just turned red. You expect them, you know, green and to be like, I guess, lighting up.
で、そっちが痛いっていうふうに言ってて。
The human body is maintained by a function of many different cell types being shed or excreted, and then replaced by a new cell. Our chromosomes contain the instructions for the replication of all cell types.
Basic biology.
These instructions are incredibly important.
Yeah,
cell
for sure.
replication is impossible without them.
And what happened? Throw a little bit of radiation in them,
when the
and
doctors examined Ouchi's test results, they understood the size and magnitude of the problem. Normal chromosomes can be arranged and identified quite easily, but Ouchi's chromosomes had been decimated by radiation, leaving them unorganized.
Damn, they look like they mutated,
and in some cases fused.
Kind of monstrous.
Radiation had literally ripped apart his DNA and scrambled it to the point where the cell instructions were no longer usable inside his body.
That sucks, man. Like
while his body could no longer create new cells,
exactly.
it did still have a supply of cells which had been created.
I don't know how much we can even manipulate our own DNA, you know, to change it, reverse back to the original DNA sequences.
When that supply of cells ran out, Ouchi's real nightmare would begin.
Jesus, man. I don't know, man. If I was this guy and I was in much pain, I don't know, man. Like, no one should be, you know, experience this much pain because of some poorly led job that wanted to rush things, apparently.
To prevent this, he was moved into a sterile room. Dr. Mayakawa was the doctor in charge of the team who would attempt to save Ouchi's life. Their first priority was Ouchi's inability to generate new cells. Without this, saving Ouchi's life
would be impossible.
After some discussion, Dr.
So this guy needs new cells. That's top priority.
To try an experimental new procedure called peripheral blood stem cell transplantation.
I don't know what that is.
This is a procedure in which the healthy stem cells are harvested from a donor and then administered intravenously into the patient.
Alright, thank you for the explanation.
To the bone marrow and override the damaged ones.
Onto the bone marrow.
Begin creating healthy cells again.
I've heard rumors that getting injected in bone marrow actually hurts a lot, man. So
testing potential donors.
Here's to this guy, you know, enduring the pain just to survive.
Healthy cells were harvested from her and administered to him through an IV.
Oh.
It would be 10 days before the team would know if the treatment was working. Knowing that
10 days? Damn, this wasn't even a guarantee. They're just, you know, trying to split, just like experimenting on this point.
To see Ouchi on a daily basis in the hope that seeing his rapid decline would help them to accept the reality of what was happening.
真実を受け入れていただくという努力はしました。決して綺麗事ではなくてですね。
I appreciate how this doctor, you know, is being realistic, like 100% of the family. He might even survive.
見た目にもやっぱり大きな変化が起こりますから。
Oh my God, such horrible news.
真実として受け入れていただくように毎日見ていただいてましたけどね。
Yeah, I mean, even if he did survive, this guy would not be returning back to that normal life he had before he got, you know, radiation on him.
When you're exposed to radiation like this, is there a risk of contracting leukemia or something? Demonstrating that he didn't understand that it was unlikely he would live long enough for leukemia to kill him if he did contract it.
Okay.
Over the next few days, Ouchi would deteriorate as his skin cell stores were quickly exhausted. As his skin lost its elasticity and solidity, it began to fall off, and staff noticed that whenever they removed medical tape,
they would peel off skin?
peel thick pieces of skin away from Ouchi's body.
No, oh my god, man.
Any further use of medical tape against his skin.
So how would they do?
At times, Ouchi would struggle to breathe as fluid started to build up on his lungs.
Oh.
The team considered putting him on a respirator, but after seeing him tell his wife how much he loved her, they decided to wait and allow them both time to speak for a little longer.
Okay. Damn, this turned into a sad story real quick.
その頃はすごいいろいろ体のだるさとかが出てきて、お話しするのも多分それこそ、お話しするのもこう力がいるっていうかそういう感じだったと思うんですね。
I feel like this guy already, you know, accepted his fate that he wasn't gonna live.
ちょっと優しい
Every day
口
he
調
kept
で
looking
少
worse.
し笑い
He
な
was
がら
already saying goodbye to his
愛
wife.
してるよとおっしゃってて、でもそういうのがやっぱり伝わってくる
Yeah, I bet it wouldn't make anybody heart, you know,
私たち
feel
は辛い
something.
ですよね。
It would, however, be very short-lived, as the next day, Ouchi could no longer breathe,
Ooh.
and he was intubated and given respiratory assistance.
And then what happened?
While nobody knew for sure what would happen to Ouchi, the staff understood that he was unlikely to survive. Days after Ouchi was given his sister's stem cells, the test results came back, and Dr. Mayakawa called a meeting to discuss the results. Everyone was hoping to see his sister's chromosomes living inside his blood cells. As they peered into the microscope at his blood cells, they saw two red dots.
Alright, so we're about to see
which
some
signified
results.
that the sister cells were alive and healthy.
Cool.
Ouchi was the first person in the entire world to receive this treatment.
Damn, what a
And it
breakthrough.
worked. Over the next few days, his white cell count would continue to increase to normal levels, and the risk of infection dropped significantly.
That's good.
A week later, and Ouchi's skin began to deteriorate again.
Again? Why?
And an endoscope of Ouchi's intestines confirmed Dr. Mayakawa's worst fear.
What happened?
Ouchi's mucous membranes had turned white and drooped down, signaling that they had died. The mucous membranes are responsible for absorbing nutrients and fluids from the food we eat. This meant that Ouchi would not be able to retain water and nutrients.
Damn,
By
nah,
this point,
man. This guy.
Ouchi had become hostile to
No
the
way.
rest of the staff, and said that he just wanted to go home.
This guy is enduring so much pain. It's like
In an
inevitable
attempt to get
that he
answers,
would
the
die.
team examined Ouchi's blood again. This time, instead of seeing the healthy cells they saw before, they saw mutated cells that had been corrupted by the radiation inside Ouchi's body.
Damn, man, what a
Ouchi's
case.
body had absorbed so much radiation when he was exposed that it had damaged the transplanted cells from his sister, even though there was no radiation source here anymore. The medical team and Ouchi's family were devastated. Shortly after,
the
Ouchi
family should
began
sue the
to
company
experience
for sure.
gastrointestinal pain and discomfort, as his body excreted 3 liters of diarrhea every day.
Oh,
After 3 weeks, his intestines began to bleed from the wound where the mucous membrane had died and peeled away. It quickly became necessary
bro.
to give Ouchi blood transfusions.
I mean, at this point, just,
On
you know,
some
let the
days,
guy
He was given 10 transfusions in a single
pass
day.
away. And I'm sorry to say that,
Team
but I
tried a
mean,
variety of drugs to help
all
improve
this
some of
sounds
the symptoms,
painful.
but
Nothing
none
seems
would
to
stay
be
in the system
working.
long enough because of the diarrhea and
It
bleeding.
was inevitable.
Ouchi was then transferred to a specialist
see the
bed for the
word.
critically ill. A bed which tilts to improve systemic circulation and to prevent bed sores from building up on his skin.
Alright, so wow.
Once Ouchi's skin had fallen off, he started to lose fluids rapidly. He lost approximately 10 litres of body fluids every day, which had to be replaced with IV fluids. In an effort to try and retain what little layers of skin Ouchi had left, the medical staff wrapped almost his entire
like a
body
mummy.
in medical gauze. hoping that this would keep the skin in place and help him to retain fluids.
Jesus
But
Christ,
it didn't
man.
help. His weeping and bleeding skin would exudate profusely, and the bandages would be completely soaked in blood and fluids in just a few hours.
Oh.
もう毎日毎日染み出しがすごくって、もう本当に半日かかるぐらいなんですね。
I can't believe what these nurses saw, man. It must be horrible.
皮膚の処置をするんですけど、もうそれがすごくやっぱり痛いみたいで、もうその時は完全に薬をたくさん使って眠らせるようにはするんですけど、
Jesus Christ, but not even now I could, ease the pain.
方ですね。
Because his eyelids had mostly fallen off, Ouchi's eye would get dry and bleed.
I need to see these photos,
He was in, he was given large
on my own free time.
narcotics
I can't post them up on YouTube. My video will get flagged. I'm sorry about y'all.
Spoke with Ouchi's family to advise that he was very unlikely to improve, and that he could get worse still.
But I appreciate the efforts, like they're willing to go to save this guy's life. They're trying everything. They're just throwing the whole bucket at this guy of medicine.
Dr. Mayakawa hoped that if the skin took,
something would work,
then it would help keep the fluids and buy them time to find other ways to help him.
So they're just buying time now.
Due to the sheer volume of fluids lost through the exposed areas of his body, the skin grafts wouldn't adhere and they quickly fell off.
Ooh.
助かる見込みが非常に低いということが、客観的に誰の目にも明らかだ。ただし誰もあまりそれは公に口には出しませんでした。
They're already giving them up after a certain amount of days. I mean, I don't blame these people.
ただそれを誰かが言い出すと、全体のその指揮といいますか。
Yeah. Cardiac arrest. Oh,
it had now been 2 months since Ouchi had first been admitted. He had undergone repeated
blood
transfusions, skin grafts. He'd been given stem cell transplants. He was breathing through the use of a mechanical respirator. His skin had rotted away. His eyes couldn't close even when he slept because he had no eyelids. He was bleeding from his intestines and he was in searing pain.
Oh
at all
man,
times.
all that, man. He was in hell, legit hell. Just let him move on.
Massive blood loss and repeated transfusions was having a secondary effect. Ouchi's heart was pumping at over 120 beats per minute.
Whoa!
The same rate as if he was running a marathon. The stress on his cardiac muscle was immense.
Christ, man.
It stopped. Due to the lack of a do not resuscitate order, the medical team were legally bound to do their best to bring him back to life again.
Okay.
And so they quickly performed cardiac massage.
Jeez,
His heart
man.
started beating again, but then promptly stopped. The team administered cardiotonic drugs to assist him, and after stopping and starting 3 times,
3 times,
he returned to a steady yet very fast beat.
Nah, man, his body couldn't keep up with the pain anymore.
Had a negative effect on Ouchi's brain and kidneys. Function was beginning to decline. When Ouchi's family called to him, he no longer had any response, and he was entirely dependent on medical equipment for survival. While Ouchi's family had not yet given up, his body was telling a different story.
Yeah,
Ouchi's immune cells had become abnormal and were attacking what healthy white blood cells he had left.
Aww.
In a short space of time, he had no white blood cells at all.
Jeez, now.
Even a common cold.
His own body just
him in a matter of
turned
hours.
on him. Chaos inside that body. I hope he's in a better place now.
On the 81st night after Ouchi was admitted, Dr. Mayakawa gathered the family members in a visiting room and advised them that Hisashi Ouchi could not be saved, and that should his heart stop again, he shouldn't be revived.
Definitely, man.
The family agreed and signed a do not
resuscitate. At this point,
order, in the hope
this guy's in pain.
Any more pain.
Just let him move on. He'll be,
on day
happier.
83, Ouchi's wife and son visited him for the last time. The medical staff removed the gauze from his face so that they could look at him for one more time.
That wasn't him anymore.
On the 83rd night of Hisashi Ouchi's brutal battle for life, his heart stopped and he passed away.
Damn, man.
It's very easy to think.
Look at this guy.
Hisashi Ouchi is suffering for far longer than he had to for no reason.
This guy died one of the most painful deaths, you know, in human history, man.
Against his will, so they could test experimental treatments on him.
So pretty bad, you know, for anybody.
Some people reference this photo in their articles and videos
that has to experience that kind of death.
None of that is true, and that photograph is from a medical textbook about burns victims. The truth is, the medical staff used every tool in medicine to try and save Ouchi's life.
Of course, like I said, they just threw the whole bucket of medicines at him.
The truth is, one simple mistake was the difference between a normal day at work and the most agonizing death imaginable.
I don't know, I mean, it was a mistake, but I'll save it till the end of this vid. So, that was the most radioactive man in human history, and what I gotta say, you know, I mean, it's really awful what Ouchi, you know, had to go through in the hospital. I mean, the doctors tried everything to do the whole bucket of medicine at him, trying to cure him, trying to prolong the inevitable, and you know, it all kind of failed in the end. I mean, there was one glimmer of hope due to the, you know, the donation that his sister provided him with what was it, like white blood cells, you know, whatever. And I thought he would recover, honestly, when I heard about that. You know, I mean, it was a great breakthrough, and it comes with the whole history of, you know, medicine and whatever. But you know, I guess like the body was just already like too late. Like it, like wherever that incident, like they said, that mistake happened and it cost Ouchi's life. His body was full of radiation. I feel like no type of medicine was powerful enough to reverse the radiation. Maybe in the future something can, I don't know, maybe like some anti-radiation stuff, beams or whatever. But you know, Ouchi, you know, had to go through that. I mean, his whole skin was peeling off, like you saw in the video. Horrible stuff. I would say it isn't entirely Ouchi's fault. I mean, he was rushed, I feel. You know, the company already started to force him, you know, to start mixing, what is it, like some type of radiation, whatever, something in this like metal plastic bucket that he was, like, you know, technically illegal to do, or it wasn't healthy enough to do. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe, you know, employers force their workers to, you know, to endanger their lives for the sake of the company, for the sake, you know, right, getting on time with whatever, you know. But anyways, I mean, hopefully that family sues him, the company Ouchi worked for. I mean, this all could have been prevented maybe if the company wasn't behind them, whatever they were behind of. So I mean, hopefully, you know, this video provided everybody some insight of, you know, the consequences of radiation. And you know, I'm sorry to end on a bad note, but you know, it was something educational throughout y'all. So hopefully you like this video. If you do like this video, please remember to leave a like below, subscribe to the channel to help it grow, comment, share it with your friends, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.